Hey guys, it's Always Improving, and today I'm going to be doing a watercolor picture of daisies. First, I'm going to sketch it out just to get an idea of what the flower really looks like and how I want the composition of my piece to lay out. As you can see, this will be probably my final composition. I'm gonna have just a couple flowers and a bud, but now we can move on to the actual watercolor paper. Now I'm just going to transfer a general sketch of what I just showed you onto this paper. Just a general composition, it doesn't need to be anything too detailed. After laying down my initial pencil sketch, I transferred to my watercolor pencils so that the lines would be lighter and wouldn't show up once I had put down the paint. So I tried to make it really light, especially on the petals, because I want to be able to make those white. I want them stark white. So I just want the general placement, but I also want to make sure that you won't see the color. So I tried to be really light and get rid of all of the pencil lines, and even with the watercolor pencil, I wanted it to be really light. So now that I have this out, I don't know if you can see it on the paper, but I have made little marks for the border. I'm actually going to put some tape on. I actually don't think I'm going to put it on the bottom, but I'm going to put it on the other three sides. One, because I think with the background I want to do, I think the paper might bend a little bit, warp kind of, so I want to prevent as much as I can. I want to prevent that as much as I can, and also I think it'll be cool to have a border on my piece. I don't know if I'm going to do it on the bottom, I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to go ahead and put the tape on the rest of the piece. And I think it'll look weird if I don't put one on the bottom, so I'm also going to put some tape down on the bottom border. Now that it's done, I can bring out my water and my paint. Here it all is. I've got some clean water and a newly cleaned palette. Usually I have leftover paint in here, but it's clean now. And some napkins so I can blot up any mistakes or pick up paint if I need to. And yeah, I'm ready to begin painting this piece. I'm going to begin on the stems of the daisies, and then I'll think I'm going to move on to the centers of the flowers. I might do a little bit of shading on the actual petals of the daisies, but I want to keep them mostly just the paper to really bring out that contrast and make them pop out of the page. But we'll see how it turns out so far. I made the stems of the flowers a very yellow green, and I wanted to keep that so it would contrast with the background and kind of complement the centers of my daisies. Now, I don't think I'm going to paint the daisies directly, at least not yet. I might go in and add a little bit of shadow later, but first I want to let the stems and the centers of these flowers dry, and then I'm going to move on to the background. So I'll explain the background a little bit more, but for now I'm just going to mix the colors I want for it. It's going to be a green background, but it's going to have different layers to it, and yeah, I'll explain it more, but for now I'm just going to let this dry before I do the background and mix the colors for the background as well. So the background is something I've wanted to try for a while. I've seen this technique done, and I'm not sure if there's a name for this specific technique, but In my eyes, it's kind of a combination of just plain layering and negative painting. So the initial layer that I laid down is a light green color. Then later I will go on top of that once it's dry and build up another layer of a darker color, but I will go around specific areas where I want the grass to be in the foreground because it'll be the lightest color. And so it creates this nice effect where the background is the darkest color that you have and the foreground is the lightest color, and they overlap, and it really ends up looking it looks interesting, and I've always wanted to try it, so I decided to give it a shot with this piece, and yeah, you'll see the results in this video. I think the background is mostly done. I kind of like how it turned out down here. It's a little too much contrast, I think. I might go back in and darken up some of the lightest parts, but I won't do it too much because I don't want it to ruin the effect it has. But now I need to go ahead and move into the actual petals on these daisies. I'm not going to add too much color to them, but I think I'm going to add a little bit of shadow with some blue-gray, and we'll see how that turns out. So I mixed a nice blue-gray color by adding just a little bit of orange to one of my really pretty blue colors, and it made a nice shadow. And I just decided where the light source came from and then added some shadows to the petals. I think it really helped build a bit of structure in the flowers, and I was worried it would be not white enough. I was worried they wouldn't look like white flowers anymore, but I do think that the shadow was the right decision, and it helped bring, as I said, structure to this piece. I'm also going to go back in and redefine the stems of these flowers because I kind of think they got lost in the grass a little bit. I'm using a really yellowish green to do the stems, so hopefully they will stand out against the background, but yeah, I have to go back in and define them just a little bit. So there's only a couple areas that are still wet, and I want to take the tape off. I'm pretty much done, and I'm excited for this reveal. So here we go. Let's see. I hope it didn't seep through. It has done that before. Oh no, I don't want it to tear either. So I'm gonna be really careful and try to take all of it off. And here it is, guys. I like how it turned out. I know it's not perfect, but I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm just going to mix a color for my signature right now and sign this piece. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching the process of me painting these daisies, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!